This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. It is January 1st, 2021, New Year's Day. I'm Ephraim Graham. Pelosi and Hoyer versus AOC and the squad. House Democrats are deeply divided about the direction of the party. The new Congress sworn in just a matter of days. So where will President-elect Joe Biden fall? Senior Washington correspondent Tara Mergener reports.
Democrats can expect 2 more years of controlling the House of Representatives, albeit with fewer members in 2021. It is a bittersweet election reality that has sparked infighting among party members. Although the first gavel won't fall until January 3rd, a battle is already brewing.
You saw voters across the country in all kinds of districts reject the socialist agenda.
Democrats aren't only fighting with Republicans.
Everybody predicted that the Republicans would lose 15 to 20 seats. Not one incumbent lost. On the Democrat side, more than a dozen lost.
But also within their divided ranks.
We still have the power of the majority.
While House Speaker Nancy Pelosi may see the glass as half full, those under her leadership are pointing fingers.
And we need to not ever use the word socialist or socialism ever again.
With moderates complaining about progressive campaign slogans and both sides publicly litigating the losses.
Why is she wrong?
Not a single member of Congress that I'm aware of campaigned on socialism or defunding the police in this general election.
Recenter politics for the working class in the United States of America.
Liberal lawmakers pushing back, insisting the progressive push mobilized the base and clinched the win for Biden. Come January, assuming Pelosi gets to keep the gavel,
I can't imagine a scenario where there's going to be this huge uprising.
It will be up to her to bring rival factions together, given the thin majority that leaves little room for error.
What it means is it's going to require more coalition building. It's going to require figuring out what agenda we have in common.
There's still going to be some push and pull between the establishment wing in the House, the Nancy Pelosi or Steny Hoyer from Maryland, versus, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the squad, if you will.
Now confronted with a shrunken majority,
I have the pleasure of announcing key nominations and appointments.
House leaders are reportedly discouraging members from working for a Biden administration for fear Republicans could nab their vacant seats.
The question is, will the House suspend the rules?
As for the rivalry within, Democrat strategist Doug Thornell believes the party will come together when it counts.
We've had these types of, intra-party squabbles in the past. It typically works itself out, and I think it's important that everyone just respect one another.
Deciding which agenda to pursue first will be part of the challenge. Progressives want health care reform and elements of the Green New Deal at the top of the list. Others argue a focus on the virus, economy, and kitchen table issues will be the key to unity and success. In Washington, I'm Tara Mergener, CBN News.
A growing number of states have banned elective surgeries in order to focus all resources on fighting COVID-19. Some abortion providers and states, however, have determined abortion to be an essential procedure. For more on this, here's Paul Strand.
An interesting side effect of this pandemic is what it's done to the war over abortion. The president's task force has asked states to ban elective surgeries for now. And that's to help deal with the sudden emergency shortage of personal protective equipment so necessary to guard the lives of those fighting this virus. But some abortion providers have been unwilling to go along, and that's led some states to ban abortion itself. And on the flip side, other states to specifically say it's essential.
The topic came up at one of the task force briefings.
Do you agree with states who are placing coronavirus victims above elective abortions, and should more states be doing the same?
Well, I think what we're doing is we're trying to, as a group, governors, and that's Republicans and Democrats, we're just working together to solve this problem. That's been what you're mentioning has been going on for a long time, and it's a sad event, a lot of sad events in this country.
New Jersey, Massachusetts, Virginia, and Washington state governors have all decreed abortion is an essential need, exempting it from any ban.
We know that abortion is essential health care. It is a procedure where time is of the essence.
Pro-life advocate Mallory Quigley questions the decision and points to the politics of abortion.
They've just put such an emphasis on the taking of an unborn human life, and I think it speaks to the stranglehold that the pro-abortion lobby has on so many in our nation's governments across the country.
But Texas, Ohio, Mississippi, Maryland, and Louisiana are insisting abortions stop in their states, so clinics' medical gear could instead go to fighting the pandemic. But that has led to a reaction of outrage. One activist tweeted, "Needing an abortion is time-sensitive and very essential to a person who needs one." Pro-life bioethicist Charles Camosi tells CBN News he's been watching this all unfold.
Even people who are going to die without a transplant, like a liver transplant, those liver transplants are being put on hold because they're not considered essential surgeries. How in anybody's right mind elective abortion could be in a different category? This beggars belief.
Some abortion clinic supporters go as far as to suggest this is all a plot. One saying the anti-abortion movement is using a public health crisis to essentially ban abortion. Another tweeted, "Even in a national crisis, they don't stop their relentless assaults on women and pregnant people."
I think that this is just classic abortion lobby anger and fear, lashing out at those who want to protect life.
What's still to be seen is how far a state's actually willing to go to stop abortions, where providers have been unwilling to comply with the ban. Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.
Devastating floods submerged an entire province in the northern Philippines, trapping residents on rooftops for days. Farmers lost crops and livestock. For many, it is the only source to buy food. As Lucille Toulousan reports, Operation Blessing rushed in to provide relief and comfort.
Josephine Buendia tells CBN News how flooding kept her family and others on their rooftop for 4 days.
It was very frightening. We prayed to God to stop the floods because the water kept on rising, almost reaching our roof.
Typhoon Vamco ripped through the Philippines, submerging the entire province of Cagayan, depriving residents of food and water for days.
We pitied the children because we did not have enough food. Rice and 2 packs of instant noodles was shared among the 4 families.
Josephine's family and others lost most or all of their crops.
It's heartbreaking. All our crops were destroyed. What's worse is we were not able to save our water buffaloes that we used for farming. Everything happened so fast. It's our lives that mattered first.
Village Chief Grace Reyes must now help constituents dealing with dire conditions.
I pity our people because they lost a lot and their source of livelihood. All I can do now is to ask for help from organizations to augment their immediate needs.
The people of the village were overjoyed when Operation Blessing came to bring them food, mats, blankets, towels, and water jugs. Personal protective equipment, hand sanitizers, and hand cream were distributed to those on the front lines.
Thank you so much, Operation Blessing, for all the blessings you brought to us.
More than 1,500 families in the hard-hit villages of Cagayan received assistance. Other OB teams provided relief to other provinces also devastated by the typhoon. Josephine says the assistance from Operation Blessing is helping them deal with their ordeal.
Thank you for all the help you gave us. It has encouraged us so much. We feel like we did not experience the flood at all.
Lucille Toulousan, CBN News.
Still ahead, coming together after a difficult election season. So what role can the church and believers play to bring about unity? We'll take a look.
On October 1st, 1961, history was made when a tiny station began transmitting the first signals of the Christian Broadcasting Network.
CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
And now, a new era has begun with the all-new CBN News Channel.
Just moments ago, the Iron Dome intercepted an incoming rocket right on the Gaza border.
And ministering in this area, spiritual warfare is definitely involved.
A 24/7 news network, bringing you the news you want from a source you can trust.
In Kenya, 40% of the medical services are actually provided by these Christian hospitals.
Let's talk about the economy.
Believers here are joining together to win people to Jesus Christ.
All your favorite shows now in one place. Go to CBNNewsChannel.com to find out how to get the CBN News Channel on your TV all day, every day. CBN News. Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
A house divided cannot stand. That applies to our country and also the church. The turmoil following the presidential election in our nation has sparked similar conflicts inside the church. So what must we do now to come together? Charlene Aaron has the story.
A recent national headline pointed out that many of today's churches mirror the country's political divide. Pastors say it's an issue of growing concern at a time when unity and healing are needed in Washington and beyond. Dr. Ed Stetzer of the Billy Graham Center at Wheaton College maintains when politics causes people to see one another as enemies, the church cannot afford to follow suit.
At the end of the day, the people that I'm in the body of Christ with need one another. And I think one of the things that we don't want is to bite and devour one another, the scriptures talk about, right?
Pastor Dan Backens of New Life Church in Virginia Beach points out that believers, both Republican and Democrat, share a faith that encourages love for one's neighbor.
In the church, in the house of God, we have a higher ideal, and that is to say, we may not agree, but we can love each other. And both sides of an issue, I think, should both take steps towards friendship.
As many take a political hard line, Backens cautions against potentially threatening the church's witness. Case in point, Christian author Trillia Newbell posted an online prayer asking God to watch over President Trump. When she did the same for Vice President Biden, it led to this response. She followed up with this tweet: I'm troubled for all my non-Christian friends on Facebook who see professed Christians say this stuff over a politically neutral Christian discipline.
This zeal has caused a radicalism on both sides. And when you get radicalized, it's hard to be reasoned with you. So I appeal to the church that's kind of in the middle and pastors to speak up, and let's all commit to being bridge builders and peacemakers.
His message to believers who voted in this election?
I would say to the person that's really holding out for Mr. Trump, I say, that's okay. Pray and intercede. If it doesn't happen, like King David, he prayed for his son to live, and he didn't. He didn't get what he wanted. So what did he do? He got up, he washed himself, he worshiped, and he went home. Go on worshiping God and go home. And the other side, if Biden is the winner, don't have triumphalism and point your finger at the guys that lost.
Dr. A.R. Bernard of the Cultural Christian Center in Brooklyn also looks to Scripture.
That God works everything in accordance with his purposes, no matter who's in power. If we believe in the sovereignty of God, God is sovereign at all time, whether it's our chosen candidate in power or someone that we would not choose.
Faith leaders point to humility and understanding as keys to bridging the gap.
The anger of the world cannot avail the righteousness of God. And anger, and most anger, 95% of anger is unrighteous anger. That angry spirit doesn't make consensus. It doesn't make unity.
Prayer is also vital.
I think anger is not a call to action. Anger is a call to prayer, because prayer is where we elevate the heart and mind to God. We allow him to lift us out of the circumstance and situation and get his lens on the situation, get his perspective on it. And it frees us from the anxieties that are associated with anger.
Meanwhile, Stetzer's desire is that the church comes together as one, regardless of who occupies the White House.
At the end of the day, there's a bloody cross and an empty tomb, right? Jesus has been raised from the dead, and that same Jesus who's been raised from the dead dwells in us. And if he dwells in us, that brings us together.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Still ahead, putting faith into action for social justice, why critics say an online community is using faith to silence conservatives. We'll be right back.
Hey, if you're tired and exhausted all day, you can't think clearly, and you really just need a cup or even a pot of coffee to get through your day, then join me, Dr. Josh Axe, for this new series where I'm going to teach you how to transform your diet and use essential oils and supplements to get a better night's sleep.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 to get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
It's about the competition.
I kind of put that pressure on myself, and I think people had expectations.
It's about overcoming.
We use this phrase all the time, keep chopping, keep practicing hard.
It's about going the distance.
You know, I think as a father, it's my job, to lead, just be the best husband and father I can be.
Watch Going the Distance with Sean Brown Saturday night at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Orphans Promise is committed to loving and serving at-risk children, to helping keep families together, and to creating opportunities for strong and sustainable communities around the world. We're working in over 60 countries around the world, and with your help, we can do even more. There's an old African proverb I love that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. At Orphans Promise, we want to run far so we can touch the lives of as many orphaned and vulnerable children as possible. But we don't want to go alone. We're out to change the world, one child, one family, one community at a time. Will you join us?
Welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. In today's politically divided culture, we see attempts to infringe on constitutional rights on a frequent basis. Extremists say to intimidate governments, schools, and even corporations into adopting their policies. One such group, which calls itself Faithful America, continues to try to get Christians and conservatives off the air. Dale Hurd has the story.
The group Faithful America claims to have fought Hobby Lobby, convinced Google to drop World Vision, and got MSNBC to stop having Family Research Council on its news programs. Faithful America is now quoted by the media as the voice of American Christians, even while it protests against evangelical leaders like Franklin Graham, Jerry Falwell Jr., and Albert Mohler. Faithful America describes itself as the largest online community of Christians putting faith into action for social justice. Its critics accuse it of using faith as a cover to silence conservatives. Scott Walter is with the website Influence Watch, which tracks the activity and funding of groups like Faithful America. We asked him to describe them.
Oh, that's easy. Just another half-fake left-wing nest of operatives. I mean, they get taken much more seriously than they deserve.
In this video from Faithful America, activists are seen trying to get then MSNBC host Chris Matthews to stop having Tony Perkins of Family Research Council on his program. Matthews accuses them of censorship.
You want to silence people. You want to silence people.
We want a progressive.
No, you want him. What channel do you want Tony Perkins on? What channel would you like him on?
I prefer that he's not.
See? You want a silence?
Faithful America's latest target is Jim Bakker, after a naturopath on his show suggested his Silver Solution product could help fight coronavirus. The left in the media said Bakker claimed it was a cure for COVID-19, something he did not say. But Faithful America is trying to get channels to drop his program. Before becoming independent in 2018, Faithful America was the creation of the National Council of Churches, and then was a part of the Citizen Engagement Lab, which was funded by George Soros. In 2014, when Faithful America took on the Archdiocese of Newark with a petition drive, an investigation of their petition with more than 22,000 names showed none were Catholics in the Newark Archdiocese, and 100 pages in the petition were blank. Faithful America did not respond to our request for a comment for this story, but Walters says Faithful America does not have anywhere near the grassroots support it claims.
Are there a few thousand grumpy left-wingers who will complain about anything if you give them a little poke? Yes. Does this remotely mean that any pastor anywhere, any church leader, any politician should take this seriously as a profound grassroots movement? No.
Dale Hurd, CBN News.
So, is getting fit one of your New Year's resolutions? You're going to hear how the Bible can actually help you reach your fitness goals when we come back. Stay with us.
I am Region's first ROTC graduate student.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm Ephraim Graham. Welcome to Studio 5.
Get on it.
All that's new and now in the world of uplifting entertainment with celebrity interviews.
There's a higher contribution I will make.
Musical performances.
I'll give you my best praise.
Plus movie and TV news.
See it and be uplifted.
On Studio 5. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern at cbn.com/Studio 5.
How'd you like to get a redo on your health, on your body, on your arteries, so you could have the energy you had 20 years ago? The great news is you can. I'm Dr. Mike Roizen, chair of the Wellness Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. I've written 4 New York Times bestsellers. But even better than having to read all that, you can listen to this DVD and watch it. Protect your heart? Yes, you can. Here's how.
Go to CBN.com or call 1-800-700-7000 for your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Let the medical experts show you their new discoveries on how to avoid heart disease and even reverse it. Easy steps to uncover the hidden dangers in your medicine cabinet, reduce stress, and get a complete do-over for your health. Call 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. Or go to CBN.com to claim your free copy of Protect Your Heart.
The new year is a time when many of us resolve to make big changes to our lives. On the top of the list is, of course, losing weight, especially among churchgoers who find that fellowship often features food. CBN medical reporter Lori Johnson tells us about a program designed to help churches spread the good news without expanding those waistlines.
Overall, the church does a pretty good job avoiding unhealthy things like smoking, alcohol, drugs, and promiscuity, but misses the mark when it comes to obesity.
Research shows people who begin attending church in their 20s are more likely to become obese by middle age than those who don't go to church. This especially troubled Dr. and Christian Daniel Amen.
I actually prayed about it because I went to my own church and saw them serving hot dogs, donuts, ice cream, bacon, sausage. And I'm like, they're giving you all this food to kill you early. Save them, then kill them.
He feels it's high time the church deals with its weight problem.
You know, it's just not okay when your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit for churches to basically poison you with low quality food and think, well, that's what we've always done, so it's okay.
As a brain imaging specialist, Dr. Amen published 2 studies showing as weight increases, the brain actually shrinks. It's widely known that obesity lowers quality of life, adds millions to healthcare costs, and can lead to an early grave. Nationwide, the South leads the pack.
And that's also where there are more evangelical Christian churches. And I'm not okay with that, the Bible Belt widening.
With that in mind, Dr. Amen co-developed a church-based weight loss program known as the Daniel Plan. While the classes last 6 weeks, the diet is intended as a lifelong discipline.
I feel so good now. I swim a mile a day. I was in a wheelchair at one time. I couldn't keep my balance, but now look at me.
75-year-old Phyllis Neal joined the Daniel Plan at her Yorktown, Virginia church. She suffered from pain, depression, and couldn't sleep due to a number of health issues.
Vicodin and Ambien and Prozac, and I was just on so much stuff.
Phyllis ultimately lost 65 pounds, stopped taking medications, felt happy, and began sleeping like a baby. She attributes much of her success to the faith element of the plan.
And God just took control. And He has just blessed my life so much.
Her 75-year-old husband, Dennis, got on board too.
I lost 65 pounds just by eating God's food.
Dennis and Phyllis believe so much in the program that they now teach others.
One of the things I tell people in our classes is if God came down today and said, look, I want you to do this task for me, and then you tell him that you're not physically fit to do it because you're overweight, that doesn't work.
The Neals emphasize the importance of breaking free from processed foods because of ingredients like MSG, industrialized oils, and high fructose corn syrup.
Diabetes, cancer, all of it's related to sugar. And we got to get that out of our system. We've been hijacked by the food industry.
Instead of packaged items, Phyllis fills their kitchen with natural whole foods, free of chemicals and sweeteners. Chicken strips, cut up vegetables, boiled eggs, beans, cheese, and nuts.
You'll see that I keep fruit available. My grandchildren come in the house. They don't ask for candy here. They go over and get a piece of fruit, and their parents are so happy for them.
Drinking plenty of water helps us manage our weight because, believe it or not, sometimes our brain tricks us into thinking we're hungry when we're actually just thirsty.
People adhering to the Daniel Plan exercise regularly and attend support group meetings. So while obesity continues to plague the church, Christians nationwide are shedding millions of pounds thanks to the Daniel Plan, named after the Bible hero whose diet reflected his commitment to God. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
And that is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. I want to remind you, you can always find more of our programs on the CBN News Channel at any time. You can also find them online at cbnnews.com. We'd love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can email us, newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye, everybody, and God bless.